Hello.
How you going?
Well, how are you going?
Doing just fine. Just
We've got
fine.
rain. We've got rain. Can you
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
light rain? I mean, somewhere north of Perth, they had some flooding. Somewhere near where the fire was burning. Okay.
Oh, okay.
We've just got, for 2 days now, light, very cool weather and rain. It's like mobs, okay, in my type of weather. Okay.
Well, it's good. I'm pleased.
So I had to, excuse me while I drink coffee as well. I just made myself a cup of coffee.
Very good. Very good. So what you been up to?
What have I been up to? I don't know. Well, I'm thinking, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. What's your take on the future of humanity?
On the future of humanity. I think that humanity is going to go through some ups and downs. Ups in the sea and downs in the sea, and ups in the mountains and down in the valleys. And I think we will see all sorts of climatic changes that start affecting humanity. Okay, as opposed to now, we just grow. We've got some rain in the middle of summer, which we never get, and you've got some your usual weather out on the East Coast. But I think we're going to find things are going to change. I think humanity is going to reach a point where they're just going to be, to use a really good classical English word, I think humanity is going to be pissed off, okay? And I think they're going to start wanting just some sort of integrity. They want some sort of news that is the truth, that's all. I think they want to know what's going on, okay? I mean, we've just experienced, we had a week of lockdown because one person had, and then on Friday they unlocked us. Okay, no more lockdown. All the restaurants are open, but you keep your masks on for another week, even in your motor cars. Hello, I mean, what sort of, if they gave a reason. If there was a virus, people around still or something, but we haven't had virus around here for months and months and months other than the one person. So, I think humanity is getting fed up of this total control that certain individuals have on your life through law. Okay.
Is it control or incompetence?
I think it's control. I think people, certain individuals love the power. Okay, love the power of saying, get on with it now. Wear your mask because I say so. Okay, and for no other reason. I mean, it's different if you've got an outbreak of something, and wear your masks. But you look at what's happening in America. I've just stopped looking because I just can't believe what's coming up. They're telling me that Biden is actually in an Amazon studio pretending to sign all these official documents, and that it's all a movie, that it's all theater. Is that true? I mean, it doesn't make sense. I mean, that sort of stuff going around. Humanity is in a state of madness, and spirituality means less to people now than what I can gather historically. Okay? I'm not talking about religions. There's still a lot of people that are paranoid about their religions, and but just spirituality, just it's definitely humanity must be at the end of the worst swing towards Satanism, and it has to be at the end. Your fault. You asked me about humanity. You see, now you're getting it in the neck. You tell me about humanity.
I'm just listening. I'm just listening. No, I'm just listening.
You said it as a joke. You see that?
No, I was serious. I was serious. There was no joke about it. Well, it's sort of interesting, isn't it? Because I kind of wonder, if you cast your mind back, for example, to put a context around it, to the days of slavery, say in the US.
Like yesterday.
Well, even back into the days of, mainstream awareness of what slavery was, that people would be kidnapped or stolen or whatever out of Africa, and they'd be shipped to the United States, and they'd be put to work by the landholders. So if you use that analogy, what's changed?
Yes, what has changed? Okay, it's
there were benevolent landholders who treated their slaves presumably well. There were horrible landowners who treated their slaves as a consumable resource. But it was always about the landowners and the slaves.
Yeah, and they were aware, the slaves were aware, and the landlords were aware, and landlords were probably born into that environment, as the royalty were. Okay.
And do you think that some of the landlords would have said to their slaves, if you work hard, you'll get ahead?
Work hard and
get ahead.
Get ahead.
We'll elevate you. We'll promote you into the slave hierarchy, where you can be a supervisor of pickers of the cotton in paddock number 4.
Yeah, yeah.
And all of a sudden, people say, I aspire to have a career where I can become the supervisor of the pickers of the cotton in paddock 4.
Yeah, you see. I enjoy your, I don't know why this keeps coming up on my screen. I enjoy what you, what's the word? Anyway, the foolish comments about what the slaves might have said, or certainly didn't say. But today, the slavery is, I think, no different to then at all, because I think people in those days born into slavery, they didn't think about it. Okay, that was life. Okay, that was life, and that's what people are saying today. This is life. Okay, come on, Michael, man, get a handle on it. Okay, get out there and work and make some money and spend it, and buy a bigger house and a car. Go on, it's life, man. And people accept.
Don't you love that term? Get a handle on it.
Yeah.
It means put a handle on it so that I can just pick it up and control it.
Yes, that's so true. I wonder if we as humanity are capable of living in any other state than in the state of being controlled, of having somebody dictate and tell us what to do and how to behave and how to spend our money. Do you think
absolutely.
we're capable of it?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes.
You think we are?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. People who are not aware now, which is the majority of humanity, unless it changes very slowly, I'm not sure if they can and if they know.
Seems to me, though, that the prison of the current way of thinking is something akin to a canary in a cage with the door open. There's a combination of fear to go through the door.
Yeah.
There's an element of I protest loudly, but actually my bird seed goes there and my water goes there, and the cat's on the other side of the cage, not on this side of the cage. So this must be a good place. So whilst I might protest about it and have a lot of theatrical machinations about am I happy or am I depressed and am I fulfilled or am I not, the door's open. All you got to do is walk through it.
And is there a need for them to walk through it if they like the situation that they're currently in?
Well, that's the thing. Do they like it?
Why would you walk through it? Why?
Well, if you look at what's going on in the world at the moment, like with technology, never have we had, well, as far as I'm aware, never have we had technology as advanced as it is now. Never have we had sanitation and medical care as it is now. Never have we had creature comforts that we have now. Kings, within human memory, could not afford to have a chariot with 200 horses, whereas everyone has a chariot with 100 or 200 horses. So
why walk through the door?
Has that resulted in happiness and fulfillment? Drug abuse is probably at the highest level in human history. Psychological, illness, diabetes, you know them better than I do. Are they all symptoms of a healthy mind, of healthy living? Of course not. So the prison is not a healthy place to be.
But if that's all you know, and you accept your illnesses, and you have got money to survive, and perhaps you perceive yourself as being happy.
Well, you just lie to yourself. Because we know that's not the truth. We know that's not the truth.
No, we know it's not true, but do they know it's not true? Humanity. Does humanity know it's not true?
I think at its core, it has to know. It has to know. Because how do you deny it? You can't deny it.
Well, why deny something that there's no reason to deny?
But there is a reason to deny it.
Not for them if they're happy and contented. And this is the world they grew up in, born into. They've got a job. They've got their 200 horses, and they're enjoying.
For some people, that's their definition of success, because that's what they've been told to aspire to. If you would like to aspire to having your own little group of slaves picking cotton in paddock number 4, and that's what you're told is the definition of success, then hey, once you've got your own little group of slaves in paddock 4, you've made it. Okay. You are now in nirvana.
So let's assume that the door is now opened in front of you. You personally, individually, how would your life change using your imagination when you walk through that door?
How has my life changed?
No, how will your life change when you walk through that proverbial door into a creative society where the whole world is in a creative society? How would your life, how would your existence change?
Well, I believe I have walked through the door.
Okay.
And I believe you've walked through the door as well.
Okay. Just because I'm happy?
No, because you know that there's a door there, and you know that this side of the door is a lie, and on that side of the door is the truth.
So that's an awareness, okay? But it could be like my virtual background in this Zoom. You know, it could just be a virtual truth of some description, okay? But it's not real.
I think there's only one truth. I don't think there's degrees of truth. I think there's only one truth.
One truth, and that one truth is there is a God. Is that one truth?
There is a God, a creator, or whatever label you want to put it. But for your and my purposes, we're quite comfortable with the term God. Yes, there is a God, and that God has always existed and will always exist, and that at its core, and has always been, we are part of that. And anything that separates us from our God is our creation. And they're the bars that we build around us. And it's closer than anything else in this universe for each and every one of us. And all we need to do is just step into it.
Okay. Or step out of the hologram that we're in now.
Yeah. Step in, step out.
Step out of the virtual reality, like what the screen on my back. Okay.
Going home, coming home.
Yeah. Okay. All we've got to do is what? Turn something off. To stop the virtual reality.
Because I think that's part of the myth inside the cage, is that you have to do something. Where in fact you don't have to do anything because it's already there.
Well, you know, that's the pleasure of a virtual reality, okay? Because it's all a reality, even if it is virtual. So you don't have to do anything. But if you want to get out of it because you want to go to, you know, where there is a real reality, don't you have to do something?
No, you just have to let go of the bullshit.
Well, I suppose you could die. Eh? I guess you then get taken out of that reality. Does that not promote suicide? That sort of approach? Well, that's one way of getting. No other way to get out of it.
Well, I think, but that's part of the lies, though, isn't it? Like the lie of religion. You know, like if heaven is somewhere that you go to after you die, then why doesn't every religion just promote suicide? Okay, well, if that's where I'm going to go after I die, why don't I go there today, right now?
Okay, good question. Deep thinking.
Oh, because we need you here now to go and pick the cotton in paddock number 4. That's why.
Yes. Yeah. I think we need to stay in this virtual, holographic, artificial reality, because it's like teaching some aspect of us something.
Well, I think the scriptures tell the truth. I think what they say is, I am in this world, but I'm not of this world.
Yeah. But why are you in this world, even though you're not?
Because here I am at the moment. Because here I am at the moment.
Because of who I am, you say?
No, because here I am.
Because
I am here.
Here I am. Okay. It's a cop-out, okay? That's a cop-out.
No, it's not a cop-out.
It's something like some guru would say, you know.
It's a statement of truth. Well, apparently the Christ said it.
Yeah, but it doesn't get to that beautiful word why, you see. But that's what I'm trying to hit it. If this is now some aspect of us is here in this virtual school, what aspect of us are here? So we could glibly say our soul, okay, and that would be the truth, okay. But then,
well, that was a little bit towards what I was trying to say the other day. I don't know whether you've had a chance to see the video or not, but
I have seen all your videos. Yes.
Yeah, the going home versus the coming home. You know, I mean, the starting point and the end point. You know, I won't be the same. I won't be the same.
Yeah, yeah, and that's in the symbol of the snake swallowing its tail. Okay. So there is no beginning, there is no end.
No, but I'm just not that flexible anymore.
Yeah. Okay. So nothing to look forward to. Eh? We'll stay in slavery, in unhappiness.
Well, that's if you choose to stay inside the cage.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's an interesting thought process, because when we talk about creative society, you know, the starting point is what people perceive their life to be now. And it's like any scientific experiment, for example. If you start with false assumptions, then it makes the experiment extremely, well, it makes it invalid, really, doesn't it?
Yeah. Now, just taking
that's I guess where I'm heading with it. To step through the door outside the cage, from a creative society perspective, we can't make assumptions, because if we're making assumptions, we're looking for evidence to support those assumptions rather than just being here and seeing what is. And that's a difficult thing for people to do, because the human mind has been conditioned, well, for you and I, for example, probably since birth. You know, when you're a wee lad, you know, you would look at the world in awe. But then people would tell you, you know, your name's Michael, and you can't do this, and you should be doing that, and this is right and that's wrong, and that's just been magnified over the years. And somewhere along the line, probably at an early age, I suspect, you know, you sort of said, this doesn't sound right. It doesn't feel right. And then you do some more stuff according to the rules of paddock number 4. And you just get unhappier and unhappier and more frustrated, and even when you occupy the position of supervisor of cotton pickers in paddock 4, you still feel empty and unfulfilled.
And if you don't, you do feel fulfilled.
And then the landholder says, you might be one of those rare individuals where you actually might get over to paddock 5. Dear Mr. Landholder, how many paddocks are there? As many as I want there to be.
Yeah.
So a part, I think, of your job and my job is twofold. It's to make sure that we're testing the truth for ourselves, and then speaking the truth as we see it, to test it with others, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. Did you listen to that video of Moy Chalubi?
I haven't yet, no, but I was intending to do it tonight. It's on my to-do list for tonight. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about that. So he's started to engaged with the rest of the world again now, hasn't he?
For the first time, really, I think deliberately. I haven't spoken to him, okay, but he's sort of the main person that does a lot of his work. She said to me that he's now said the time is right in 2021. There is such chaos. But he has been working non-stop in the couple of dimensions around humanity, but also in the duplicate. You know, there's a duplicate dimension that's you and I live in as well. Okay, he's been working in that area as well as the sort of the other. So he's for whatever's been done there, you know, I would question me if I was able to talk to him, but I'm not even trying to at this stage. And so yes, he says the time is right. The world is absolutely chaotic, and could remember Logos's mission is, in a sense, to pick up the pieces when humanity has just dropped every concept of a god or whatever. Okay, and I think we're very, very close to that at the moment, and that's my opinion. And so I think you know, the idea of Logos is to take us really not only for the next 2,000 years, but certainly beyond that, until maybe Armageddon. And so, you know, I think it's now a process, and which excites me. I said to Lee, I said, you know, ask Moya whether I can start marketing Logos, start talking about it. And she came back and said, absolutely, for sure. Okay, now that's the first time you know that. Okay, I don't know how long I've now known it, probably 16 or 20 years. I've known Logos, and I've always been told, no, the time's not right. No, the time's not right. And that has frustrated me, because I've always said, well, you know, but, you know, clearly coming from the extreme hierarchies that he comes from, he can see what we can't see for sure. Okay. And so now he said the time is right. So yesterday, I did a presentation on Logos to my group, to my Latra group. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yes, I did a PowerPoint presentation. I just created, I think, 4 slides or something, and oh my God, did you see eyes this big and ears this big? You know,
really?
It was, and they weren't ready to accept it. Okay, you know, they sort of they didn't sort of argue with what I said or anything, but I said some quite dramatic things, okay, on purpose. You know me, okay, yeah, and I wanted to see, because I had their faces in my face, you know, on the screen, and I wanted to see. Some of them turned their screen off, their camera off. So,
really?
And then the main teacher sort of said, but you know, the Bible says this. And I thought, okay, that's interesting. So you coming from a Christian background, and then one of the others were clearly must be a Muhammad background, and he said, you know, the biggest entity that's walked us. Now they like, in their own way, because remember they're learning English, okay? So they're not having a discussion like you and I. So the one guy said, what's that prophet's name that's died a few years ago? Sai Baba, okay? They said, no, Sai Baba is the highest entity that's ever been on earth. You know? So they've got a belief. Now you spoke about belief in your videos, you see, and I wanted you to get to another level on belief, and I think you probably will in time to come. But now he believes it. So he listens to me. I've made him aware of Logos, okay? I've made him aware of what he believes is my belief, okay? So he believes that I believe in this person, Moya Chalubi, like anybody believes in their prophets, okay? So that's as far as it took. The teacher, Ilana, was more open-minded and a little bit more elaborate, and she was really questioning the others because I think she was a bit confused as well. And I said to them, Alatra is not a spiritual movement, okay? By their own definition on their own website, it's the first thing you see is that we are not a religion, okay? And then, I had to talk to them about, Logos will in the future maybe be classified as a religion. It's a spiritual science movement at the moment. That's what we talk about. But when things are at their worst, people are going to look for a God and resonate with something that is not dogmatic, that rings true and connects with their soul, and that will be Logos. Okay, so they weren't altogether ready about that. Okay, so then I made a suggestion. I said, next week, why don't we all do a presentation on our own prophet, the prophet we believe in. If we don't have a prophet of any description, then research one, okay, and do the presentation on that one, okay. And I said, I'm going to tell you some more about Logos, okay. And the teacher's eyes sort of went big. Oh, okay. And yeah, so we'll see how things unfold. And they
I think that's brilliant. I think that's brilliant because all of a sudden you can't be a passive player. It's time for you to step up and put a stake in the ground and tell us about your savior or your prophet or your whoever.
Right, yeah.
And I think it was wonderful. He actually said, and if you don't have one, tell us about someone else's then.
Yes. Yeah, it's getting people to think more deeply. Okay, I love your phrase. So yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how it all transpires next Saturday. And they want to also. They made a suggestion is that that we record our discussion. It wasn't my suggestion, okay? It was, and it wasn't the teachers. It was one of the other guys who's a computer programmer, and he said, "Why don't we record our discussions and then we upload it somewhere?" Okay, and somebody else said, "Well, give it to Alatra. They have a place for those sort of things." And they sort of had a little in Russian. Of course, when they start getting excited, they palm off to Russian. And so I sit there twiddling my thumbs. And then I get told, what the discussion was about. And so it looks like that, I guess, the 6 people that turn up most weeks, okay. I mean, there are basically 30-something people in the total group, but only the same 6 pitch up. And it looks like they might be interested in taking this a little bit further.
I think that's a wonderful question to pose to them, because how often do you have people telling you about their perception of someone who lived 2,000 years ago or longer? Well, we're here now. Yeah. So why was it okay 2,000 years ago and not okay now?
Yeah.
And what would it have been like? I've often asked myself the question, what would it have been like, if I was walking down the street or taking the dog for a walk and there was Jesus Christ? How would I even recognize him? How would I even know
Mm.
if it was there 2,000 years ago? Or the Buddha, or Muhammad, or whoever you want to,
Yeah, yeah,
one of the, the enlightened beings, And more to the point, if I was taking the dog for a walk tomorrow morning and I came across Moya, how would I even know?
yeah. You wouldn't. You wouldn't.
Mm.
Absolutely wouldn't. Okay. And there may be some sort of connection.
And I think that's a big part of the truth too, is that as you increase your awareness beyond, the physical dimension, and you and I know, we've experienced it, you can walk past someone and you're walking through an energy field. It's like, oh my goodness, you just feel it, That's how I think I would know.
Yeah, well, exactly. You see, if I go back to when before I met Moya, okay, a friend, I suppose you could call them, a husband and wife, both individually, with the other one not knowing that the other one, they both sent me an email. No, the one sent me an email, the other one came to my office and said, you really got to meet this guy Moya, okay? I said, who is he? No, you just got to meet him, okay? They said, so I said, okay, I'll meet him with pleasure. And won't you come to our house? And I said, fine, okay. And when I went to the house, here was this very dark-skinned man, okay? I'm talking about, you get dark-skinned Africans, and then you get very dark-skinned Africans, okay? And he was a very dark-skinned African. And I looked at him. Remember, I was brought up in apartheid. I was born into apartheid, okay? Yeah. I had prejudices, okay? But I was the black sheep of the family because I voted for the opposition to do away with apartheid. So my family always thought I was the worst guy, okay? But so I had a sort of inkling one, and I met him and I resonated with him, okay? And that to me there was just something there was something about this guy that there's no way, words would not describe my feeling, because I wasn't even sure what my feeling was, okay? I just knew I was feeling something. And very soon after that, I think he initiated me. That's a whole nother story, what the initiations are, unless you've read about them in Logos. But and so I think other people would resonate when they meet him, other members of humanity, when they come across, or they'll listen to a video, okay? Now, when I questioned Moya many years later on that, he says that he meets far, far more, or many more millions of people in other dimensions who have incarnated here on Earth and may still have to come back and reincarnate. And he says they've all accepted Logos. They've all accepted the future as it is. And they will slowly be incarnating after the disasters that are going to happen. And so they will already, in their hearts, have a memory of Logos from the other dimensions. And they said that's what will make this movement really grow enormously. And he said, yeah, it will be called a religion, okay? And he said there's no problem with that, because it will be an accumulation of all the other religions, the essential key parts that the Jesuses and the Muhammads and the Buddhas were saying, just the key elements, okay? And so everybody would recognize it and feel comfortable with, like, this has evolved, my religion has evolved to this, and my religion has evolved. So we'll see. But I'm certainly now, I'm so pleased, because you know how I've wanted to talk about it before, and I probably will talk more. I won't write, because Moya's written so much, and I just feel it's about the voice now. And when Moya talks in that video, you must just sit quietly and see whether that voice resonates, across the planet. People will listen as they become aware of the video. And I would imagine he's going to be doing more videos. I don't know, but if this is a start, he's going to do more. It's actually not a video, it's actually a podcast on YouTube. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm definitely listening to that tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah. There's nothing profound that he says, okay? It's not like me saying something profound to the Alatra English group, which I did. He's not saying anything profound, but if you listen carefully, he's saying things that I guess for the world, they won't hear it. But listen to the video. Let me not preempt you. Okay.
It's an interesting topic, the point that you touch on there too, because with the change process, like as with any change process, you always have the early adopters, and then the wave builds sort of thing, and then right through to the the late adopters sort of thing. But it'll be interesting to see if there's any one nation that provides the leadership. I mean, my sense is it won't be the US, because I think the US is so cocooned and so.
No, it won't be. It won't be. No, they've had their chance now. They've had.
Yeah.
Them and Great Britain have had their chances. Okay, there was the British Empire, and then what Moya calls the space age, which America headed up. Okay, so no, it won't be either of them. I've got a suspicion. I don't know. This is not based on anything that Moya's told me. I've got a suspicion it'll be Southern Africa.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you might be right, actually.
It's the African continent has never had a savior.
Okay.
Think about that. Think where all the saviors have come from, or where they were living. Okay. I think that's, yeah. And if I ever had an opportunity, in fact, I would ask him that question, because it's the humble African continent is a very humble continent. Okay, and I think the closest they got to it, having one, was a guy called Christmas Dishos. Christmas Dishos. The 3-in-1 in the history books call him. He was I think in Egypt. Okay, Christmas Dishos, and an amazingly spiritual. But he was. I must read up a little bit more about that. And then somehow it I don't know. He just either wasn't ready or it didn't happen, or. I think there were problems with the Alexandria Library that was destroyed by the Romans, I think. And but anyway, I'm not sure. I'm just snatching at vague memories. Yeah, so Africa has never had a savior. So that's what makes me think the final savior is coming from Africa, and Africa has never mutilated the world in any way, or dominated the world, or had created wars. Its worst crime was apartheid.
Well, it was often, I don't know whether you'd heard the term before, but it was often described in my upbringing as like the nursery of humanity. It was out of Africa.
That would make. I like that phrase. I think it is. I think that what Moya has said is that there is coming a new world renaissance. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, my memory is just clicking in again. And it will start in Africa. The renaissance will start in Africa. and then spread to the rest of the world.
Mm.
So, you know, whether that's in a few hundred years or whether that's imminent, I don't know. I look forward to more and more of Moya's videos. I hope he does them regularly.
Mm.
Because then we've got something to share with other people and make other people aware of them. Yeah,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And he's also said that, well, he told me that Moya said that he's now going off of Facebook. You won't find him on Facebook in the near future. Doesn't want anything to do with that. He doesn't want anything to do with WhatsApp. And I guess he'll probably also, you know, move away from some of the other platforms. I don't know.
Well, I'm finding myself sort of doing that intuitively as well. I mean, yes, I've still got a Facebook account. Yes, I've still got a WhatsApp account, but I'm not an active participant anymore.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, there are things that I will do on Facebook, like access the marketplace, but that's just, you know, to see things that are for sale or something that I might be looking for. But in terms of putting posts on Facebook and stuff like that, it's been ages since I've put anything up there, you know.
Yeah, I'm probably using it more now than I have in the past because I teach it now, you see.
Yeah, yeah.
So I show people how to use it. And you know, so I'm on there, and so when I post one of my 5-minute videos, you know, YouTube asks me, do you want to post it on Facebook? And I say yes. You see, so it goes on, but it goes on to the .com, my company website. Occasionally I forget to do that, and it lands up on my personal one. But 9 times out of 10, it doesn't land up on my personal one. So. Yeah, and also what must happen. You know, when something really good comes along to replace YouTube, I will speak to the company. And you see, they're very much not into anything that's going to be political or controversial or anything like that. You know, they just want to, whatever old people want, that's what they want to teach. So if they're asking about Facebook, then, you know, we must teach them Facebook.
Well, I think we'll intuitively know, you know, that whatever the platform is when it comes along, that it won't be based on a profit motive. It'll just be based on, you know, connecting humanity with each other. You know, I mean, that's essentially the simplicity of it all, isn't it? You know, so
that's why I'm not sure what your reason was, but my reason for joining Telegram was just that it was an alternative. Okay, it's owned alternatively, and so is the other one, but the other one is still, you know, very few people know about. That's called Signal. And I got that because I've got one child on Signal, so I go on Signal to support her, and so yeah.
But I think that's the sort of change process, isn't it? You know, that as people look at some of these things, you know, because and this is the thing that's frustrated the bejesus out of me, you know, in recent years, is this whole idea that you have to monetize everything and you have to, you know, it's all just money, profit motive, you know, dominating, winning, not losing, you know, all that sort of nonsense. But
yeah.
In fact, I sent you an image on. It was actually.
Yes, I saw that. I looked at it. Okay, what was your thinking behind that?
Well, it was actually an Alatra image about a representation of consumerist society. That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
So people being blindfolded, carrying lots of shopping bags.
Yeah.
It just made me laugh. It just made me laugh when I saw it. Well, that's about
right. Okay. Yeah. I stared at it for a long time, and I sort of thought, now, what was in Don's mind sharing that? Certainly there's a lot of shopping bags. I see everybody carrying shopping bags, and they blindfolded, so they got a mask on, and but the word consumeristic didn't come to my mind. Okay, and so I thought, okay, I must ask you about that. So thanks for bringing it up.
No, that's right. It just made me laugh. That Alatra have been reaching out to me more as well. Like, you know, that guy Slava.
Yes.
Yeah, well, he wants to befriend me on Facebook there, which I did.
Yeah.
And every now and again, I get a a message via Skype of
Yeah.
of someone in the US sort of saying, oh, you know, what's your views about Creative Society? And I just, you know, tell them, and then I don't hear from them again.
Right, right.
You know, but
right.
there just seems to be more and more people just sort of touching base with me, and
Yeah,
that Sergi over in the UAE, you know, when as soon as I joined Telegram, he was the first one to reach out to
okay,
me, and you
okay.
know, I'm saying, yeah,
Yeah,
that's fine.
yeah. I think you know, we need to both of us have we don't have an issue with Elantra, really.
No, not at
Our
all.
issues are superficial, like they send too many emails and too many content. So it's really superficial. And but what they stand for, I mean, the 8 pillars foundation are sound pillars foundation for a creative society for the future. There's nothing there that you and I don't agree with on those 8 pillars.
Absolutely not. And even with a lot of the conversations, you know, like their little, you know, 7 degrees of separation or whatever they called it. And,
yeah.
You know, all that sort of thing. I have no issue with any of them.
Yeah.
But they're not conversations that propel me any further, because I had those conversations 10 years ago or longer.
Yeah.
So, but they're important conversations to have for depending on where you are on the spiritual journey. You know?
Yeah,
So,
and to make people aware, you know. So, and that's just one tiny aspect of Elantra, you see.
exactly. Exactly.
You know, there are things that really probably resonate more with us if we look at some of the deeper spiritual things that are in their books and so on. And I keep saying this, but I will find time to at least, you know, listen to one video a week or something like that. Okay, I do want to get back to it, because I think we need to support them carrying the awareness through to the rest of humanity. Okay.
I mean, if it wasn't for the notion of creative society, you know, which, you know, right from the first day that you uttered those words,
yeah,
you know, it wouldn't have taken us on a on an exploration of consumerism and digital distribution and all of those sorts of things, you know. You know, and so I absolutely hats off to them. I think they're doing a wonderful job.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, well, I'm glad you solved the issues about the future of humanity for me tonight, though. So that's
yes.
I'm very grateful to you for that. So
yeah. I'm glad we've solved humanity's problems too. You know. I think I call this bit here humanity.
Which probably raises one question, which you don't have to answer tonight, though, is the and it follows hard on the heels about, you know, is humanity capable of, you know, taking control of its own future and so on. Now, have we wanted to say that?
Sorry, yeah,
but it also. Sorry.
Sorry, I'm missing something. I'm not sure. You turned away.
Well, remember at the start of this conversation, I asked you about, you know, what did you think the future of humanity was?
Yes.
You know, and you know, but the other question, which probably needs to go in there somewhere, but not necessarily to be answered tonight, is the role of extraterrestrial life forms in terms of the future of humanity.
Yeah.
Are they watching us with eager anticipation, or are they in there quietly directing and showing directions, or, you know?
Okay. Yes, I can, from my knowledge, limited knowledge, I can answer that. First of all, they are extraterrestrial.
Okay, that's not.
So let's just establish that fact with, you know, in this conversation. Then there are also the good and the bad, like there are people on Earth. Okay, so you get
so the workers and the landholders
and the land, but they're out there, and but there's certain laws that they have got to adhere to, okay, which they do. As much as the satanic people on earth do, there are certain things they've got to do in order to make their satanic power more. There are rules that they've got to abide by, okay? So the aliens have a similar situation. And so you've got the others that are waiting to possibly annihilate the earth, but the biggest, by far the majority, okay, in the universe, and coming from far, far away in dimensions, okay, they're here as well. And because they're here, everybody behaves themselves, okay, all the aliens. So they're watching for Earth to evolve, okay. The Earth have to sort out their own issues, okay. And if aliens come in and interfere, good or bad, okay, you got a problem, okay? And it interferes with karma, it interferes with the universal laws and energies that are permeating the entire existence that we are part of, like everybody is part of. So they have to hold back, and they can communicate, which they do, they can give advice, and of course, being not in a three-dimensional world, you know, they can see the future as well. And so they're aware, they can give advice on things that are happening now to reassure certain individuals who are in contact with them. So does that answer your question at this stage, or shall we have a full-on discussion about it next time?
No, and I knew you were going to say that because we've had this conversation before.
Yes.
And I 100% agree with you. I think it's 100% in agreement. And again, you know, just like we posed the question, is like, how would you know if you know, if I was out walking the dog tomorrow that I didn't bump into Moya?
Yeah.
You can pose the same question about, well, how would I know that I didn't bump into an extraterrestrial life form?
Yeah. Anyway, maybe we can, you know, talk about Logos at some stage in the future as well.
Yeah, well, I'd like to sort of dedicate a session to it. So maybe, you know, if you're up to it, maybe next Wednesday or next Sunday or something like that, that would be good.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, maybe if you ask the questions, then I will answer in Logos terms. You know?
Okay, well, that's a wonderful invitation. So I'll give thought to some questions for you.
Maybe say it with Don in the car, you know, so I've been thinking about Logos and some questions.
Okay, well, okay, that's a good invitation.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's a good invitation. So.
Yeah. Okay.
In fact, I'll do that.
Really great. I've really enjoyed today, as I do always.
Absolutely.
Super. Having a friend like you across the ocean, across the land.
Yeah, across the desert. That's right.
Across the desert. Yes.
Right. Okay. Well, you enjoy that cooler, wet weather over there.
Oh yes, I'm going to go and walk outside now.
Okay. Go and have a chat to the garden. That's right.
Yes, you're right. Cheers.
Okay. Take care. See you now.
Okay, bye.
Bye.